down we go.
All right, what's up, mi gente? Welcome to another episode of a L.A Riots podcast, where we give you that 411 and all the crazy nonsense going out there. And man, oh man, what a week it's been. I know what y'all thinking. Oh, here we go, another Mexican talking about the L.A Riots and stuff. We got to talk about that, because if we don't speak on it, nothing ever gets fixed. So that's another thing why I'm coming in here, and I might sound like a hypocritical on some of these points, because you gotta understand, I am Mexican, but I'm also American. So I'm like in between. I'm mixed in there with a lot of us are. I'm not the only one. I know there's a lot of people out there like me out there struggling to put out opinions and get points across to other people and stuff. So hopefully on this, what I'm talking about helps some of you guys to understand better on both sides, not just one or the other, really on both sides, and hopefully how we can, get this peacefully resolved. And I do mean, when I say peacefully, I do mean non-violence and all that. I know I had a little conversation with an old coworker of mine, and he was telling me that he's fed up how they treating us and all that, and then if violence is the answer, then that's so be, it's going to be that. I was like, no, man, you're wrong, because violence, only thing from violence results is more deaths, more hurt people, more parents being taken away from children, legal or illegally. It doesn't matter. More people are getting taken away. Like if I was out there doing all that nonsense, I would probably be in jail right now the whole week, and my daughter be at home without a father. So it's like, that's what you gotta understand. That's what violence is bringing you, is more pain. So like, no, we can't do it with violence. We can do it without violence. It's been done before, and we can do it again. So really, let's do it without violence. Don't be rioting and looting and stuff. Which I don't understand really why there was a riots and stuff. Because I was at work when all this happened, and then I saw the a little on Facebook Reels about peaceful protesting coming up, and I was just like, okay, that came out of nowhere, because usually it comes out weeks before. Everybody, the people were letting everybody know, whoever wants to come out and support, and this one just came out of nowhere, and then boom, big old L.A riots happened, and I was just like, what the heck, that'll make no sense. And I know my people better than that. I know they wouldn't be doing that type of stuff. Now the Mexican Americans, I don't know, maybe that, but I know my people from Mexico, they wouldn't be doing that. I know that for a fact, because I have family that do that, coming over here is trying to be better life. They're doing it legally. Put that out there. They're doing it legally. But, they're not out there trying to be all, mad and destroying other people's property. We all our life, there's rules and been in all our lives, and that's what they're trying to do, just follow the rules. And that's really, I hope my people understand, that's really what Americans want, is that they just follow the rules and come over here. It's like me, if I want to go to Mexico, I have to fill out a paperwork. Well, now I have to fill out a paperwork. I'm sure any other country, we have to fill out documents to enter that country, because we're just visitors, tourists, whatever, and we're not citizens there. So they want to make sure that whoever's coming in is not bringing in any crime or anything with them. And that's all it's all about, is really just wants to make sure that whoever's coming in is not bringing crime and all that. And I know some of you people are saying, oh, well, the drugs and stuff still comes in. Yes, it may be, but that could be a topic for another day. But we're really just trying to focus on having this issue resolved peacefully and all that. So I understand that some of you guys are kind of, like I said, I've seen the comments between both sides, and a lot of people are very aggravated with everything. But we gotta understand, this comments from all this is not really helping at all. And some of you guys are kind of getting a little crazy. I know that some of my people are saying, I don't want to see no Americans going to Mexico or eating tacos and all that. That's foolish. Honestly, that's foolish. One thing about this world, we have our freedom to say whatever we want to say, talk about how we want to talk about, do whatever we want. So you got to understand, that's when people say stuff, that's just their opinion, and you just got to respect that. That's just their opinion and stuff. You can't really get mad over someone's opinion. So all you Americans, if y'all want to eat tacos, go eat your tacos. If y'all want to drink your margaritas, go drink your margaritas. It doesn't really it doesn't bother me. It may be bothering other people, but the thing, like I said, is what I don't want to see is people posting I love Jesus and all that godly stuff. Because with all y'all's common stuff, like really, I think I need more than just church. I think I need to go back to that lake and get rebaptized or something. Because there's still a lot of hate in people's hearts. That's what I've seen this whole week. There's still a lot of hate in people's hearts, and that's what got my little fumes boiled up a little bit. Is like from both sides is people's ridiculous comments on every single thing going on. Because you gotta understand, one thing. Really, if a waving flag gets you mad, we all seen that dude on the top of the car waving that Mexico flag. If that gets you mad, saying we'll go back over there and stuff, you got to rethink about your, how you look at views and stuff. Because what I'm thinking, and there's other, like I said, I've seen other people's points of it. Other Mexicans have talked about this, and they all said, waving the flag is showing their love for the culture and all that. Which, don't get me wrong, that's true stuff. My point of it is, I feel like they're showing the love to the people, not really the country. They're showing the love to those who can't really stand up or too afraid to come out because of ICE and all that. They're afraid to go back. And they're not afraid to go back because of how things are over there. Because from what I've seen, the Mexico economy is getting better. The work is getting better over there. The cost of living is a little expensive, but the pay for work is getting a little better. So obviously their economy is probably getting a little better. Not 100% sure on that, because what I focus mainly is here in the U.S., not really Mexico. So, but they're not going back because of, they don't want to go back because they're scared of all that. They're just, the way they live here, they find it more comfortable than having to go over there. And you got to realize one thing, like, how they grew up over there, it was probably not how they're living here. So that's one of the reasons they don't want to go back. I'm trying to think of how, I don't want to sound like, I don't want to take it too personal or anything on people. So I'm trying to think of how to say all this without being, a point or touching people's nerves and stuff. But if I have to, I might have to. But if it comes down to it, I do apologize in advance. But yeah, my people don't want to go back because of the love. What's up, hit this big game right here, intruding on this video that you're already watching. Intruding this because at this point I kind of just stopped talking and I just lost my track of thought, and I really didn't have nothing else to say. Everything else is just pretty much me just blurbing weird random stuff out, trying to stay relevant. I'm not sure why I get so nervous when I'm with at the studio. Mike, the producer Mike, is a really cool guy and everything. I just don't know why I can't get it out. Maybe me talking about LA and all this race thing and stuff, maybe I got scared and thought Mike was gonna, drop kick me or something. But so I'm really in making this video just to kind of not continue, but hopefully I can get what I was gonna say. Really wanted to say is about the these LA riots and stuff. This back and forth between. Because like I said, I'm Mexican American, so I'm in between. I understand the feeling that my people have, and I understand that the USA people have. So it's like damn, don't really don't want to step in anybody's shoes. Don't really want to have a side, and that's really my focus. Is this? We really have to figure out a way where we can get together. I know there's a way where we can get to just in common grounds and stuff. Trump is already. One of the, what's that word, that fancy big ass D word that they use, that they want to kind of pardon. They want to pardon the farmers, hotel workers, restaurant workers. Not sure about house builders. I would say house builders and concrete. Pretty much all the jobs that nobody wants to do. He's wanting to pardon them people and let them stay here and stuff. And that's really like what is the Mexican people are mad about, is because it's like they know that there is, like any other race, there is bad people out there, and they have criminals and stuff, and that they're coming out here and making us look bad and stuff. these L.A. riots making us look bad, but that's what's really they're mad about, is why going after these innocents and stuff, because they're the ones that actually coming in here and just working. That's all they want. They're not making trouble and stuff. That one is 10% is correct. Yes, they're not work. They're not here to. They're here to work and not do anything. But gente, you got to realize you should never. It's gonna make me sound so bad. I shouldn't. You should never procrastinated on getting your visas or whatever. I don't go through that stuff. I understand. I don't really know what the steps in. I do know it's a long process and stuff, but it's hard to sit here and say it's because I have friends, I know people, and the situation that we got going on right now, they still got to prove, and they are in process of getting their whether it's a resident or citizenship to be here. So it's like, this media is putting out there that they're not willing to work with us. That's false to me, because I know people out there getting work. I know people out there getting their stuff together and stuff. So it's like, and that's what makes the American people mad. Is like, they don't care that you come over here to work or whatever. All they want to know is that you're one of the good ones that are willing to come over here and work, and that's why they're like, just come over here through a visa. Like, and it's like me, I can't go to Mexico no more. I have to get, permission. I don't know if I have to get a visa and stuff, but I can't go over because I'm not I'm a Mexican descendant, but I'm not a Mexican citizen. I'm an American citizen, so that's one of the key things that my people need to realize. It's not a racial thing. It's just a country thing. There's countries out there, I think I saw, in England, they're deporting some people back over here or back to another country. It's not a racial thing. That's just the media putting it out there that it's making it seem like it's a racial thing, but it's not. It's just a country thing. It's just a thing that they want best for the citizens. That's all it is. Now, for those of you who are getting mad at a Mexican waving their flag, if you're getting mad because he's waving the flag, you just got to recheck your life thinking choices, man, because some of y'all out there waving the Cowboys flag, and we already know how they are, so you can't really get mad because he's waving the flag. I mean, yes, it may seem like he's waving, another country and stuff, but he's not waving the country. He's not. I know there's other Mexicans out there that spoke about this, and they, put their perspective on it, which is very good perspective stuff. Me, myself, what I see, they're not waving the flag because they love Mexico. They're waving the flag because they love the people. They love the culture. They love the descendants that we come from. We worked very hard. Well, not me, but my parents and all them worked very hard. The people before us worked very hard to get, a better life or future. Which in the studio I talked about that, and I kind of just didn't make a good point of it. But what I wanted to say is, every parent before us, not just a Mexican, black, white, no, every parent before us has always wanted to do better. Wanted to do bring us to a better life, have better ways of The key thing is, if we have a roof over our head, we're living a good life. If we have clothes, food, we're living a good life. We're so focused on materialistic wise that's wanting us to make it seem like we need to be better. Like, what's one thing that I didn't have? A four-wheeler, for example. One four-wheeler I never had. We never really had four-wheelers growing up and stuff. Now, let's say I want to get a four-wheeler for my daughter. Does she really need that for me to say she has a better life for me than me? No, I don't think so. I think it's just really me being there and helping her understand what kind of world is going to be out here. Sorry about that. Oh, really should pick this up at FaceTime, so I really can't. But that's what it really is all about, is, and then that's what they want, is just to have us a better life for us. But that's everybody. It's not a racial thing. I understand why it's always got to be a racial thing. But that's another thing I also said in the studio, is that they just wanted to make it seem like it's a racial thing. They want us to believe they want us against each other. That's all it is. It's to help their agenda. What agenda? I don't know what agenda they got, but it's really just to help their agenda. But that's really what I wanted to kind of talk about on this little short clip that I'm put it in with them, because if you want to continue watching the rest of the video, you may. I pretty much, when I was editing and stuff, I was just like, wow, I made myself look like a fool. That's probably why my wife don't even watch my own videos, because I look like a dumb when I can't really say what I have to say. Like I said, I don't know why I struggle at the studio when hearing my dome, or maybe that's just hearing my dome, and I'm just relaxed or something in my safe space. But that's really all we gotta do is just, don't fall into the media's perspective of going back and forth within the, racial thing. Don't make it a racial thing, man. It's not a racial thing. It's not. It's really just we just gotta do better. Not everybody, we just gotta do better. But thank you again. Catch you on the next one. Because they're too comfortable here, but the work and stuff is, I guess, better here, but lost my train of thought. Well, honestly, the ones we've seen waving the flags, I don't think they're illegals. I think this is all legal Mexican Americans, and majority of them, I believe, that haven't even been to Mexico. So when you got Trump saying deport all these people, I know he's not just referring to us Mexicans, but my people are very sensitive, and so when they say deport all these illegals, the first that comes to mind is the Mexicans, because we are the number one that comes over here a lot. We are the main ones that come over here, but mainly to work and live better, but not live better for themselves, but for us second generations. That's really the goal, is for us to have a better life than them. And which is, I don't know. I mean, the way my dad grew up is no difference from where I grew up. I mean, he had a roof. I have a roof over my head, so there's really no difference. It's just the fact that I guess over here they were able to do more than what they could over there, and that's really why they don't want to leave. It's because they're here. They can do more. There's more opportunities. I never thought I'd be doing a podcast. Nobody in my family ever got behind a camera unless it was a party. Everybody's dancing and stuff. That's the only time there's ever being behind a camera. But now look at me. I'm here working on my way to being a podcaster. So those are the little things that Mexicans want to be here for. They want to do work like that here. And then I recently, seeing that Trump is allowing them to stay because of the farm work, hotels. I'm sure building houses, because it's going to be hard, and especially with this heat, Texas heat mainly, everything's going to be very hard to get people go out there and work for $15 to $18, $20 an hour. And like us, we're struggling to hire people because nobody wants to work for $15 an hour no more. Everybody wants to be making 20 plus. And that's one of the hardest things that these corporations are struggling with, because they want cheap labor. And how you get cheap labor? Well, you get cheap labor from these immigrants that come here, because they can work for whatever and they make it work. Because I had a conversation with my mom the other day, and she was telling me about how this other guy is doing a lot better than he was when we were growing up. And I was like, okay, well, that's good. He's probably making, more 20 or more now. She was like, no, he's only making 15. And I was just like, wow, $15 an hour, and that's good for him. And she was like, yeah, it's good for a lot of us. I was like, I was like, if that's good for y'all, that's just good for y'all. But for a lot of us, that's really like almost minimum wage right now. That's really not that good, because the way the cost of living is here is getting so expensive. 15 an hour is not going to cut it. Even with overtime, it's still barely getting by. So that's one of the reasons why these corporations are having this immigrants here, because of the cheap labor. Everything's so cheap, and we can keep it cheap and stuff. So, but yeah, that's one of the reasons why they want to stay here to work, because of the way the living is here is better than it is over there. And I don't know, it's crazy going back and forth with all this stuff. It's crazy, but it's just the fact that Mexico right now, from what I've seen, they're also doing the same thing over here. They're also rioting, not looting, not rioting, doing protests to keeping us Americans out, because thanks to us Americans, their cost of living was going even more up higher. And so that's what we got to realize. It's not a racial thing. We're making it seem like a racial thing. Social media is making it seem like a racial thing, but it's not. It's not really a racial thing. It's just um, it's just countries want to be, making sure who's coming in, who's leaving, or not leaving, but who's coming in, and just keep, I guess, keep track of uh of who's being here. Honestly, I think that's what it's all about. It's keeping track of who is here. Because when I did all this research and everything, because I've seen people saying, "Oh, they're taking even the people who are legally here." When I first read that, I was like, "Oh snap, I might be next then." Because I was like, if they're taking us legals, then what's the whole point of all this deportation? What's the whole point of focusing the illegals then? And so I did like little research and stuff, and then what I came across, I don't know if it's true or not, but this is just an article that was released in February of 2025, and they were saying that Trump wants to do these concentration camps where he has a bunch of, like, on a U.S. Marine bases. I'm not sure if every single Marine base here or just a couple, but apparently he wants to have at least about 10,000 people where he has them working like slaves. From what I read on that article, that's kind of what he wants them to do, is sit there and work, and pretty much, I think, below minimum wage or hardly any pay. So I feel like that's what this whole thing is all about, honestly, is where they're trying to fill up. I don't know if that's what they're going for, but that's what they're trying to do. Because we're looking back when the riots first started, I saw a video of this Mexican guy who got caught up in right before it started, and he was saying that he saw the police officers right before anything started, saw the police officers all lined up, and then out of nowhere they just started shooting. They just started going all crazy and stuff. He said nobody was doing nothing. Everybody was just standing there with their flags ready, but he said the cops just started shooting, started going crazy, and I feel like that's what the media is doing, is making it seem like right now it's a horrible, crazy place, but it could be paid. I'm not 100% sure, but from research I did more videos. I was like, I can't believe just one guy. So, but I did more videos, and apparently there's a lot of people saying, all the locals from LA are saying that the news had it all planned out. They told the officers, in 40 minutes we'll start. They had everything kind of lined up and ready. There was people, I think, if I remember correctly, there was videos surfacing that they were putting big old rocks. If you see some of the videos of the Mexicans throwing rocks at the ice when they were leaving, apparently that was all planted there for them to grab for all these. So it was like a planned up agenda. So when you think about it, it's like, well, what's going on? Well, if this is a planned protest, what's the deal? What's going on with all this? And it's just basically it's a big old corporation going around. There's a big old agenda where it's mainly more for better for them when worse for us. And how to keep it worse for us is keeping us divided, keeping us making this thing as a racial issue. It's a immigrant issue. It's a drug issue, but it's really all corporations. And what I mean by corporations, like, who are you talking about? Because originally my plan to talk about this podcast today was how these hospitals and other corporations are buying doctors, giving them like what to give people, what type of medicine to give people, and all that. The hospitals need what they need to do in order to make money, because that's what all hospitals' main concern is how to make money. And so they're buying all these doctors and telling them to give all these people certain medicine and stuff. That's why you always got to look at or go to a different doctor. Don't just stick with one and get whatever he gives you. You got to look at what they give you, study, make sure that's the right type of medicine that they're giving you. Because not that long ago I went to a doctor because I kept having bad nosebleeds, and I went to the doctor to see what the heck the issue is, and he said it was just one of the inside is like a little pore. He said it was just real cut up. He's prescribed to me a medicine of a nose spray. He said be very cautious with it because it's very strong, and if you overdo yourself, it could do some harm to my nose and my breathing. And so he said, just be very cautious with it, and come back in a couple of weeks and let me know. When I went to go pick it up, the medicine at HEB, and I told the ones that prescribe you the medicine about that nose spray, and they looked at it and they're like, this is just a spray to keep your nose moisture, not because some people like I guess myself, I have my nose very dry and stuff. So it's like, this is really a nose to keep. This is medicine is really to keep your nose moisture. It has nothing to do with what he had told me. So then I was like, what the heck? Then I never went back. But that's one of the things that I was trying to say, is that these doctors are just being bought out by all these people. And when I'm referring to these corporations, that's another thing. I also read an article that these deportations helps these companies, companies and corporations, by the amount of people that get deported. That gives, I guess, they report it in to whoever they got reported into, and they get paid. It's like a little cycle of money that goes in and out for them, and majority of it goes back to these to the I guess president or government, whoever, and that's really all it is. And same thing with like donations to charity and stuff. I saw on Joe Rogan, they were explaining, showing all that these donations that we do for charity and stuff, that charity, 70% of it goes to the administration, while the other 30 goes to the actual cause. So if we're donating for let's say an animal, because for an animal or something, for pets to get better medicine and stuff, 70% of that goes to whatever administration is that created that charity, and while the 30% actually goes to the cause and stuff, which makes sense, because I'm like, man, growing up, it's always been donating, and then nothing ever gets done, or they don't have enough resources and stuff. So it's like, well, what's going on? Where's all the money going to? So I think that's really what the big issue is, that we have in this corporate America running us, and they're just showing us they're distracting us by what we shouldn't be focusing on. Because when before this riot came up, when the big beef between Trump and Musk happened, I was like, wow, Musk just dropped that big old mic drop where they're not releasing the Epstein files because Trump is involved. And so that was the big mic drop. I was like, oh snap. I was excited. I was like, man, what's gonna happen next? And then boom, out of nowhere, L.A. riots, people going crazy, all this nonsense. And it's just like, what the heck? Or, and then everybody forgot about the Musk and Trump beef. And it's like, what the heck? Everybody's focusing on this now. People saying go back. Some people saying we're here and all that. So it's just like, what the heck? It's like we all lost track of what we were going down with. So that's really my key point, is to focus is on that, and pay attention to what they trying to distract us from. So they're trying to distract us from that. They're trying to distract us from the fact that corporation is running us. Iran or Israel just attacked Iran a couple nights ago. So it's like there's a lot of stuff going, but they're mainly having us focus on these protests. And then you gotta be careful too, because now there's these sheriffs talking about killing these people and stuff. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm hoping my people don't get no violence, because now these cops, I don't know if they're actually going to do that or anything. You got to be careful, because they could shoot, randomly. And I saw this one news reporter, she was just talking, and this cop right behind her, just for no reason, shoots her in the leg. I mean, it was a rubber bullet, but he just shoots her for no reason. And so it's like, what the heck is going on out there? So we just got to be careful and make sure that, that you just don't just get up there and just wave whatever flag you have on you. You take the American flag, take the Mexico flag, take whatever flag you want to go out there with, take it with you, and just sit there and just put it in it, raise it up high, proud. Don't get no crazy or anything. And it's just, I'm just hoping that we get better with this. I'm just hoping we get understanding from both sides, that that we don't keep bumping heads, that we keep able to find an agreement, which a lot of I hope my Mexicans understand. A lot of these Americans are not really racist or anything. They just want where people could come legally. That's all they're asking for. You know, they're not telling us to go back and stay over there. They're just saying if you want to come, just come legally, come the right way. Which is like if somebody, I'm at my house just watching TV and I know where somebody just comes in and you're like, what the heck? You know, like you ain't let me know you were coming. You just walk straight in, like, you know, it's like it's invading your privacy. That's really what's the issue. It's just if they feel like you're invading their privacy. And I understand that this used to be in Mexico a long time ago and stuff. But I mean, if you're talking about that, man, you're just stuck on the past. You know, this is why you can never get better, because you're just stuck on something that's in the past. We're not focusing on what it was. We got to focus on what's coming. You know, what's better for the next generation. You know what? I can't be sitting there mad about someone that did something in the 1800s. You know, yeah, I can't do that because I have a child that I need to teach and make sure that she does better than what I did. And so that's really all it's all about, is just focusing on the future. So for all my Mexicans that are mad about all this, man, just don't just ignore it. Don't acknowledge it and stuff. And I know it's hard. A lot of people out there commenting and stuff, and then you know you want to say something, but you know, just let it be and stuff. Like I said, Trump is allowing some people to stay because of the farm working and stuff, which I knew that was going to happen. I told my wife, I was like, ain't no way that they're going to get rid of everybody, because I'm not going to be out there picking this fruit and stuff for people who are ungrateful. I'm not going to be building houses for people who are mad about it, or are mad that something didn't come out the way they like it. So, and the only people that do that are the ones that, you know, that the immigrants. They're the only ones that, because they're just coming and they just want to work. They just want to get whatever they can for a better future for the kids. And that's what it's all about, man. So we just got to focus on doing better. I may have lost track on my point of views and stuff, but it's like I was trying to think of ways to put all this, because it's a big topic. It's a big something to talk about, and like I said, if we don't talk about it, it's never gonna get resolved, man. Because this is a big issue that it can come down to a comprehending. It can come down to understanding of how to make this a better life for everybody, and that's usually what it's all about. Is just making a better life for everybody. And so, I hope you guys can understand. You know, if you guys have any questions or anything, you know, reach out and stuff. I also want to make a shout out to Mr. TG3 for giving me the opportunity to come up here and talk about, you know, single dads and stuff. I'll point out, not a single dad. I am married. I do have a family. I know some people ask me that, or, you know, after that, people ask me, they didn't realize I was a single dad. I'm not a single dad. I'm a married man. But I just want to point out that we are the media points more direction on the single moms, about them, and not really focusing on what the single dads go through. And that's what Mr. TG3 wanted to talk about, is these type of things that single fathers do go to, because there are some good dads out there while they had children with some bad woman, and then the woman, you know, don't let them see their kids and stuff. And that's what really we wanted to talk about. And I understand we had a little issue with time and stuff, but hopefully we could get you a part 2. I know we are in the works of it, so we can get you a part 2, and hopefully we could talk about that. And the bullying. The bullying was another big topic we want to talk about, because that's how we gain those school shootings, man. You know, because all the bullying, these kids and stuff, that being picked on by other kids and stuff. And you just gotta understand, man. You just gotta teach your kids to be respectful. That's one of the big issues. I mean, that's probably why we're having these riots. All these kids didn't get bullied in school, and that's why they're out there going crazy and stuff, because nobody ever picked on them and let them know that that's wrong and stuff. I'm just saying, you know. But I appreciate you guys that stayed with me this whole video. Thank you guys for giving me this opportunity to speak on. I'll catch you on the next one. Yeah, stay peaceful and keep your head up. Thank you guys.